You guys, I need you to picture this. Imagine the Democrats who thought that they were playing 4D chess. Imagine them setting up their little filibuster fortress and blocking everything in sight. But what if I told you that the so-called king, Trump, the one they love to mock, he's about to pull the ultimate power move. That is right, you guys. Donald Trump, King Trump is what they call him. He might just drop the nuclear option bomb and show everyone how to actually get things done. Y'all, the whole government is on pause. Like, nobody is getting paid federally, and everyone is losing their minds. The EBT Queens are threatening to steal everything that's not nailed down. And the media, they're playing Trump like he's some kind of dictator king. But guess what? The king, he just might be the one who makes sure that you are able to keep the lights on and the fridge full with all of your high calorie food. So we need to talk about how the nuclear option that could turn the tables. And yes, it could be how Donald Trump might just end up playing the hero. Let's get into this. You guys, welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. I'm your host, April Chapman, and welcome to today's show. All right, folks, listen, I need my pen because I got to point. I got to do a lot of pointing. I need to break this down. Now, the filibuster, that's the fancy Senate maneuver where the minority party, they get to say, hey, we're just going to sit here and talk until you all give up. It's kind of like when your kid, I don't know how many of you have children, but when your kid throws a tantrum so long that you just give in and let them have the cookie because they've just worn you down with all of the whining. Yeah, well, I don't do that with my kids, but some of you might. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, except in the Senate, the cookie is a 60-vote threshold to get anything done. And yes, it's a serious power move.
This morning, President Trump is calling on Republicans to change the rules in the Senate to reopen the government. Trump posting overnight, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. The move would allow Republicans to pass a bill to fund the government with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes currently needed. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune has warned against this move, saying it could come back to bite Republicans whenever Democrats take power back. Meanwhile, millions of Americans fear their food assistance or SNAP benefits will run out tomorrow as the government shutdown drags on.
I've gone to social media to ask for help from everyone that I could possibly think of.
It now appears a federal judge hearing a lawsuit over emergency funding may step in. Judge Indira Talwani saying right now Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency, and it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency. Republicans argue it's not that easy.
If they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula.
The judge dismissing the administration's explanation, saying, I want agency action, not lawyering. We're not going to make everyone drop dead. The judge could compel the administration to release the funds, but whether the Trump administration will comply remains to be seen. And even if it does, the emergency funding available would still fall short of the monthly SNAP payouts. Back on Capitol Hill, Democrats digging in, refusing to open the government until Republicans agreed to extend Obamacare subsidies to prevent health care insurance premiums from skyrocketing next year. A Utah woman we spoke to says even with the subsidies, her premium next year will rise from $495 to $753. And without the subsidies, it will more than quadruple to more than $2,100.
We can't afford to double what it costs for us to live just to have health insurance.
Republicans argue the Affordable Care Act, which set up Obamacare, was a bad law that drives up premiums and strains doctors. President Trump last night posting, quote, Obamacare is a disaster. Rates are going through the roof for really bad health care. Do something, Democrats. Stacey Cox says right now a flawed plan is better than no plan. Meanwhile, as more government workers go without paychecks, more of them are turning to food banks.
Honestly, this has been devastating.
Wayne Barber says he's been an air traffic controller for 23 years.
I'm still going to show up to work because that's what I swore an oath to do.
But many air traffic controllers no longer getting paid are calling out sick, causing staff shortages and delays at major airports. At Orlando's airport yesterday, a warning that at one point there would be no certified air traffic controllers to land planes, forcing a ground delay.
A shortage of air traffic controllers was already a big problem before the government shutdown. Now authorities warn if the shutdown drags on, especially through the Thanksgiving travel period, it'll be a disaster.
Now, the reason why I need to explain this is because I have seen a whole lot of politically, I won't call them ignorant, I'll be nice, I'll call them politically unsophisticated people who are in my comment section, and you can tell that all they do is listen to Jasmine Crockett, because they're saying things like, you sound so dumb. One called me a witch. Called me a witch and said the Republicans have the House and the Senate. And I'm like, can you please, for your sake, as well as everyone on this thread listening to you sound dumb, can you please stop listening to Jasmine Crockett, because you sound just as uninformed as that mophead Muppet, and you're embarrassing yourself. You may be calling me names thinking that you're trying to shame me, but you're the one that sounds stupid. So for you, the slow ones, the ones in the back, I need you to pull up a chair and take some notes so that you can at least appear as if you know what's going on. So, anywho, there are aspects of how all of this works that you guys can get really, really fun and really, really interesting. And that is where the nuclear option comes in. So I'm going to explain it, but the nuclear option, it is basically when it's the Senate's version of saying, forget that darn cookie. We're just going to smash the whole cookie jar, right? So instead of needing 60 votes to move forward, the majority party, whoever that is, now in this case, it is the Republicans, but the way this works, whoever that majority party is, y'all, they can rewrite the rules like on the fly and get things done with just a simple majority. Simple majority meaning instead of 60 votes, they can get something passed with only 51. And yes, you guys, it is the political maneuver and it is explosive as it sounds, hence the name nuclear. So how does it work? I'll paint the picture a little bit better for you. But the nuclear option, the Senate majority is like, listen, we're done playing nice with y'all, right? So instead of letting the minority, the Democrats right now, keep things locked up, we're voting and they just refuse to budge. What the Senate majority does is they change the precedent so that they only need a simple majority, 51 votes, to move forward. Boom. Suddenly, right? The minority's power play, it just goes poof up in smoke. So yes, this is the same nuclear option. It as actually, when I was doing some research, you'd be like, okay, when has this been exercised before? The nuclear option's been exercised in judicial nomination. So remember, we were able to get Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett through using this tactic. But now we're talking about something different, because now we're talking about doing it for legislation. If we invoke the nuclear option on this continuing resolution bill, this could end the shutdown circus. So here's the kicker. You guys, the media loves to paint Trump as some kind of tyrant. They're always calling him a king and alleging and asserting that he just wants to rule everything and he's a dictator, right? But guess what? The same guy that they've been calling a king and a dictator might be the one who gets the paychecks flowing again. It's genius. The Democrats thought, even though they don't think very much, but in their minds, they thought that they had this win in the bag, right? They thought they was big and bad, puffing out their chest, and we're fighting back, right? They stalled. They filibustered 15 times already? blocking the vote each and every time so that they can keep the government frozen until we give them their $1.5 trillion for health care for the illegals. But here comes the plot twist. You guys, Donald Trump says, okay, fine. I'll play. You want to play? I'll play. We'll just change the rules and get things done. And then everybody's going to see that it was you freak nasty Diddycrats was the one playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes. So if Trump does this, which I think he will, because tomorrow is the first, suddenly the so-called dictator, he ends up being the one making sure that people get their EBT funds, they get their SNAP benefits, they get their livelihoods back. So much for a dictator. That's the bad, big and bad orange man. So why does this matter? Well, we can't kid ourselves. This is huge. Don't get me wrong. It is a celebratory win if I've ever seen it. However, you guys, we've seen the nuclear option used in judicial appointments. But if this option is used for legislation, it changes the whole game. The minority loses their little favorite toy, which is the filibuster, and the majority, which is the Republicans, they'll be finally able to govern like they're supposed to. So it's basically like saying, we the people, we're stronger than you, the government, and we're tired of your games, we're tired of your shenanigans, and we're stepping in and letting the adults take over because y'all still want to act like a bunch of children. And so the American people, in my opinion, they do not deserve to live under this kind of financial angst and anxiety. This is stressful for a lot of families. We're being stuck in a filibuster deadlock over something as nonpartisan as a continuing resolution bill just to keep the government open to fund the essentials. It is a kind of legislative slavery. And so this nuclear option, it's a way to break the chains. And for all of the folks out there who still think that all of this is Trump's fault and that the Republicans are the ones doing this, my question is, what are you going to do now if the nuclear option is exercised and the Democrats are out here with egg on their face looking stupid after they've played in your face this entire time? All month they've played with you, all because they want to take care of their new class of dependents, the illegals. And they were willing to let you starve just to do it. Just the anxiety of, what if we don't get our EBT? What if the Head Start programs are delayed? Air traffic control, all of the federal workers that have not been paid but still got to show up faithfully and serve you, the American people. These are what the Democrats did. So here's the bottom line. If Trump pulls this off, you guys, he's not just flipping a Senate rule. Y'all, he's flipping the entire narrative. They played right into his hand. The Democrats called him a king. And now the king put a crown on him. Go ahead, make it do what it do. Now the king is making sure that the people have bread on their tables again. Y'all, listen. He was the king of New York, but I'm just saying, you're going to have to give him credit where credit is due. It is genius. I'm telling you, if Trump does this, the Democrats are done. I'm talking stick a fork in it done. Do you hear me? I will make so many daggone videos talking about how done they are. I'll probably be blue in the face, and then I'll make 10 more videos after that. But I am curious to know, you guys, what do y'all think? Do you think that this CR bill stalemate is serious enough? Like, is this bill serious enough to invoke the nuclear option, or should we save it for something more important? I mean, I kind of like the idea of doing it, but with situations like this, you do have to be careful. I understand John Thune's hesitancy, because if the Dems ever get back in power again, that means that they can get the stuff done that they want done and what they want passed with only 51 votes instead of 60. So if we're going to exercise the nuclear option in a legislation capacity versus just in a judicial appointment, it's real tricky and you got to be careful. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. Leave me down your thoughts, your comments down below. And matter of fact, here's what I want you to do. If you really thought, like, just be honest. You don't have to like me. Yeah, I don't need your love. I don't need you to rub me on the back. But if you happen to watch this and you thought that this was the Republicans' fault, or you thought this was Donald Trump's fault, and one of the videos I made breaking down to you exactly how all of this works, if you were educated and enlightened and you be like, my bad, I was really dumb, I didn't know, just let me know in the comments. I really want to know, how many people am I helping making a lot of this political legalese make it make sense? If I'm helping you, I want to hear from you too. But I do want to know what you guys think. Do you think, should we exercise the nuclear option or save it for something later? But whatever it is that you guys think, stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.